HumanitZ has been out for over a year now, but hasn't gotten any better. Today on Save Survival, we discuss just that. So when we first reviewed HumanZ, it just came out. Now, I did say HumanZ. What I really mean is HumanitZ. Now, I suck at saying those kind of things. But when we first intercepted this game in our review of survival games, we found this game to be quite enjoyable. It had multiplayer, it had enemies to fight, the zeeks, and it had NPC raiders already in the game willing to shoot at you and attack you. It had base building, it had exploration, and it even had drivable cars. There were a lot of elements to this game when it first came out.
Yeah, it had all those elements, but it was still very basic. It was a very fun game, but it felt like they weren't trying to overload you with mechanics and different types of zombies and different NPCs. It felt very basic but very fun at the same time. Um, but the more we explored, the more we found. But not only that, they've been updating it for over a year now, and with every update, it gets a little bit better, and we get a little bit more mechanics. We get a little bit more advancement in the game, and I like that. I feel like we're slowly getting the game improved, and it's not too much. They're not trying to do so much at one time.
Yeah, I think the dev team has a pretty good head on their shoulders. It feels like they're giving us enough, but they're not overwhelming themselves with a bunch of new mechanics, either features that can make some of these developments or updates broken and push a lot of people away. I really like this game from the beginning. And one of the reasons why I like this game from the beginning is that the multiplayer was pretty well flushed out. We were able to play immediately with our friend Jarl of Goats and with yourself as well. And we had some funny incidents like me hitting you guys with the long reach of a golf club or maybe a shotgun going off when it was not supposed to. But there were a lot of team moments of us playing together. And even when we played by ourselves or ventured off by ourselves, we really still had a lot of fun. You know, like leaving the camp mom there. I remember being the camp mom for one of our playthroughs, and I got attacked by raiders while you guys were gone, and I'm yelling for you guys to come back. And, you know, it's a big old charade, but you guys finally got there, and I think I just got done taking care of the last one. And it was kind of very, like, climatic to aw, you already did it.
One thing you forgot to mention about our fun adventures too, and in the game period, is that very early on it had drivable vehicles. And while the vehicles were a little bit buggy in the beginning, if you remember, we ran over like the corpse of a wolf or something and got launched into the air at one point, and the car flipped over. We ran into a few of those. But do you remember the time that we were driving the car, and I think it was an airport that we found, and it was in one side of the airport was in a toxic zone and the other wasn't. But we discovered at the far end of the non-toxic zone there was this weird little ramp that went over the fence, and we decided that we wanted to jump the vehicle over the ramp.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't think it went well, if I remember right.
I think we, like, hit the top and just went boop. It was a wonderful time in the beginning of Human Z, but they have been doing updates for the past year, like we have said repeatedly times in the past in this video. The updates have changed the game. Every update has not only just added in new content, but it's changed the way the game is played.
Everything down to the way your inventory system works. Do you realize that at the beginning, HumanitZ didn't have a drag and drop inventory system? You couldn't drag an item from your backpack or from a box you were looting into your inventory, but they're taking this a chunk at a time. The drag and drop inventory came in later. It's in there now, and it's great, and it's way better than having to click each thing to move it over. But because they're taking these in like bite-sized chunks, so to speak, that came in a little bit later. But that's one of the small things that they've added in that's made the game so much better and so much easier to play.
The first iteration of attachments on guns was you had to make a weapon attachment bench, and that's how you attach weapons, your attachments on guns. They found out that wasn't a good system. It wasn't great for their players. So they removed it. And now you can attach the things to your guns without that workbench anymore. It's more dynamic, it's easier to understand. And I think it was a great change. But then they also changed the camera system. Because the camera used to be a isometric kind of top-down look to it. And you had a zoom in and zoom out. Now they've added so you can change the angle of it. You have three different options on your camera. You have default, you have a close, and then there's one other option. But the too close one is my favorite. It almost feels like a over the shoulder third person now than a isometric game with that camera. I like when they look at the mechanics they have and go, how can we improve this? Or is this actually what we wanted it to be?
Yeah, the camera is something I've always struggled with HumanitZ. It's because it's different than any other game that I play, so I have to adjust my brain every time I play HumanitZ. But with all of these camera customization options are adding, I'm able to dial in something that fits my play style and fits the way my brain works, so that I'm not having my camera constantly spin in circles while I'm running for my life from the zombie horde chasing me. Because that's something I've really struggled with, but all of these customization options that they're adding are making that easier. I'm able to set up a system that works for me, that my brain can work with, and I can actually like fluidly play this game and have a better chance of surviving.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty cool that you talked about the customization settings. It's not just for the client or the player anymore. They have always had great server settings as well. And every time they add an update that has a different mechanic to it, like the food spoilage mechanic they added in one of the most recent updates, I think 2 updates ago, or the electrical mechanic of generators and how much fuel they use and everything else, all of these are server side settings that a server owner has full control of, or if you're playing single player, you have full control over as well. You can control how many zeeks there are. You can control how much your food goes down, the loot rarity. You can control so much of this that you can make it so you really have a customized game experience. I know when we first talked about HumanZ, we're talking about how those settings made the game available to anyone who wanted to play, from the hardcore survivalists like myself to people who want the game to be super easy and just sit back and base build and have fun with some enemies here and there. The game still has that, I guess, foundation of this is a game anyone can play if they mess with the settings just right, or if they choose to mess with them at all. And I think that's an important thing to remember here. Human Z has never moved away from that.
Yeah, they're very community focused, and I think that shows because of those settings. Now, I know there was a lot of talk in the beginning when it first came out of the game being too easy because of those settings, but I think that the option to up those settings as much as you can, or or put them in the middle somewhere to tailor your experience, is fantastic. Because like you said, you can tailor it to someone who wants a more relaxed game, or you can tailor it to someone like us who tend to be masochists sometimes and want as much trouble as possible.
Yeah. And honestly, I would have to say, folks, Human Z over the past year has become a game that I would have told you to buy to a game now. I would definitely say you should go and try Human Z. They have a demo available on their Steam store. It's a great experience to learn, just play the demo itself. And the game is constantly going on sale and they're always updating. Like they just did the Halloween update that they've been working on for quite a while now. And this update added so much to it. We have underground bunkers, we have the close camera, which is like over the shoulder third person, and so much more was given to us, including some new types of zeeks as well.
Yeah, the different types of zeeks are something that wasn't really in the game early on when we first started playing. And I've only met one or two of the various types of zeeks, and I'm struggling with a few of them. Specifically, those big buff zeeks that come sprinting at you at full speed. I've lost more lives to those guys than I care to actually mention. So I'm a little bit afraid of what these leaper zeeks are and what these sleeper zeeks are. I'm a little bit scared to run into those guys. On top of the other special zeeks that have been added in the other updates that I just haven't even come across yet.
I definitely have to say, overall, the game again has become a flourishing title that I think any person should spend some extra money on if they have it, because it's definitely worth it. Whether you're playing solo or with your friends, I think Human Z in 2024 is definitely worth the money.
Yeah, dump. I gotta remind you though, it's HumanitZ.
Oh, yeah. So Human Z. Thank you very much for watching the State Survival podcast, folks, on if HumanitZ is worth buying in 2024. Join me in thanking MHN119 and Red Falcon for helping me host this podcast and for giving their thoughts and reviews on so many of these survival games. Ta-ta for now.
See you in another dimension.